Hey everyone, today I want to talk about a couple of the DM screens that I think were some of the best Dungeon Master screens made for Dungeons & Dragons. In a previous video, I talked about a couple of the 5th edition Dungeon Master screens and how I thought they were just okay and could have been better. These two screens were for 4th edition, and they set a pretty good bar for what you should have on a DM screen and how they should be laid out. The first screen is like a typical DM screen. It's made of very thick cardstock, and it was sold as a separate product for 4th edition. The other DM screen came with the Dungeon Master's kit, and so it's a much thinner cardstock. The contents of both of these screens is nearly identical. There's really only one difference between the two, and I'll get to that in a little bit. I'm going to set this one aside, and we'll take a look at the standalone one first. The artwork on it is wonderful. It's got a scene of a bunch of heroes fighting some monsters in a winter setting. When I flip it over and you take a look at the contents of the screen itself, this is where it really shines. You'll notice right away that there is no artwork on this side. This is all business. Everything on this side of the DM screen is about helping the Dungeon Master to make rulings and quickly act on things that the players are doing. So looking at the first panel, the first box here is the experience points rewards. I don't necessarily think that's an important thing to have on a DM screen because it doesn't come up so frequently that you would need to know it right away. But it doesn't take up a ton of room, and because they're not using up space with other artwork, I think it's perfectly fine to be there. The other stuff is really good on this panel. You've got information about travel and types of terrain that you would travel on. You've got information about how hard it is to learn things about monsters. You've got information on the skills that would be needed to learn information about certain types of monsters, the DCs to break down certain items, food and drink, cost information, light sources and the range and all of that. And then the ad hoc damage by level. If you've got a trap or something that's going to be on the fly, you do some damage, you can indicate what that damage is going to be. So all really great information for a DM to quickly make rulings on things. The second panel covers all the stuff that you would need during combat. So standard actions, move actions, minor actions, immediate actions, opportunity actions, free actions, everything that the players could do. You've got a little bit of a guide here to help you get through that. Really good information. There's a box here that talks about skill challenge complexity, and then another one that talks about charging and some of the rules with that. So pretty much everything on that panel could come in handy during the course of an encounter, and so it's really great to have. I think everything on that panel is really good. The next panel goes through the difficulty classes. As characters level up, then what's considered easy, moderate, and hard will change, and so you've got a table that indicates what that would be. The DCs for different skills and specific things within there. This is a really great one because, so it's not just, that acrobatics is for certain things. It tells you how difficult it would be to do certain things. So like for athletics, if you're climbing a ladder, it's going to be a DC 0. You don't even need to check for it. Climbing a rope will be a 10. Uneven surfaces like a cave wall would be a 15. If it's a brick wall, it'll be a 20. So as you go higher and higher, it really helps you not only understand what the skills are for, but gives you what the difficulty classes would be for specific things within that. And some of this kind of seems to go back to Advanced D&D in 1st edition, where there was very specific rulings on certain things like bending bars and stuff. So I like that they included all of that detail on here. And then the last panel talks about conditions. And if you watch my other video, you know that it was a point of contention for me that they took up so much space on the DM screen with the conditions. Here, they've got all of the conditions covered in really less than one panel. They've squeezed it all in. And understandably, there are different conditions in 4th edition of Dungeons & Dragons, but there's really roughly about the same number of them. They're just slightly different, and they did manage to squeeze them all into less than one panel. And then you've got information about healing and some death and dying information. So all information that would come in handy for a Dungeon Master during a campaign. When you look at the other DM screen out here, you'll notice that it's pretty much the same. Obviously, the artwork is different. All of the panels are practically identical. The only thing that's different is instead of that skill challenge section, you now have a section that's all about cover and concealment. So they got rid of the skill challenges, they got rid of the charging information, and instead you have cover and concealment, which I actually feel is a step up from the other screen. So this is the second screen that they made, and they got rid of the skill challenges and put in this information here. And I think it's an improvement. So this one gets pretty close to being almost a perfect DM screen in my mind. You still have the experience point rewards box here. It was maybe my only thing that I don't really think belongs on a DM screen, but every single other thing that's on this screen is something that a DM is going to need at a moment's notice during a campaign while they're running an encounter so that they can figure out how to make a ruling on something. So really great job on these DM screens. And I wish that the 5th edition screens were as focused as these are. I think these are just really great examples of what a DM screen should be. So let me know your thoughts in the comments if you have used these screens and what your thoughts are. Until next time, take care.